Hey, everybody. This is Ryan Haggerty. I'm the Director of Workforce Development here at Work Hard, PGH, and Academy PGH, and all the other things that we do here in PGH. This is the first episode of This Week at Work Hard, which is just a little series that we're highlighting some of the things that are going on in our ecosystem and, sharing some more information about that, answering people's questions, and just, bringing it to you guys as the audience. So, should we cut that off?
Nah, I think it's fine. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
let's keep going.
Okay. So with us today is somebody that can provide a lot of answers, Josh Lucas. So Josh Lucas is, of course, on our executive committee. But how you doing today, Josh?
I'm good, Ryan. Thanks for hosting.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm happy to be talking to people. This is great. Um, so one of the first things that we do have is there was a COVID update that membership worked on. So this is something that I'm going to share a little bit more about as opposed to maybe Josh talking as much about. But we're just putting out basically the protocols that we're following, which are, the same that the CDC recommends about people wearing masks at all times in the workplace now. So previously we kind of went by restaurant rules, but now we're looking at it as let's be safe at our desks too and have masks on and just be, cognizant of other people in the space. And then just kind of reassuring people that we are sanitizing the space on a regular basis and following all the state and federal guidelines around what we should be doing. So if you haven't seen that, you may not be on the newsletter list. So you definitely need to let Maddi Love know to add you to that list, and you will find out. Now, down to some things that we can actually have a conversation about. So there is a new production tier membership that's going to be launching in April. Previously, members, anyone who's a member of Work Hard Pittsburgh was able to check out equipment. Now we're doing a new tier. So formerly, people were paying $45 for access to the space. I believe we're jumping up to $65. Yeah, so it'll be a $65 membership, but over the course of a year, you get to use equipment, you get to work on gigs and make money. So we're trying to keep that as accessible as possible.
And that goes towards sort of the goal of separating these entities better, right? So that the agency has its own sets of gear and the co-op has its set of gear. And I think that just ultimately that will lead to less confusion and less loss and less breakage and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think people all want to be able to have access to this stuff, but ultimately, I think we're going to end up with more gear and just more opportunities for people to use it in different ways. So communications, this is a big one. So I don't know. I'll let you start with that, Josh. So I know communications has done a really great job of formalizing our communications across our different entities, whether that's Academy Pittsburgh, Work Hard Digital, or Work Hard Pittsburgh. But why should someone engage with communications? Like, what kind of things are they up to?
Yeah, I think the call to action there is that we always need more content, and we need to tell the story of the people that work here and the space and the projects that go on in a more diverse, eclectic, and interesting way. So, Maddie's always looking for people to send in pictures and videos and stories about the work that they're doing, and that ultimately is what defines us out there in the zeitgeist and helps us raise money or helps us do the next big thing. It's that cultural collateral that we've built up for almost nearly a decade now, sort of, matured and expanded, and honestly, it just requires deeper participation by more people.
That totally makes sense. So personal question, how do you keep the fog off your glasses when you're wearing a mask?
I just live in it. I just embrace it. Just when you're driving. Yeah.
You don't have a set of like home windshield wipers that you take off before you come in?
Nope.
I am disappointed.
Part of the new normal.
So yeah, I think all that's wonderful with communications. And I mentioned before that they do send out newsletters. So if you're hearing some of this information for the first time, definitely hit up your communications team if you're on Elements on there. Obviously, or if you're not on Elements, you can reach out to Maddi Love, who is mlove at workhardpgh.com.
Correct.
We are on it. And then in addition to that, they did mention that there is an Academy newsletter that's really starting to take off, as well as some blogs from some of our past bootcamp grads you can check out. On to membership. So membership is really digging in and doing a good job of helping bring more clarity to like what are the benefits of being a member. So what's that team been up to in terms of helping members understand like why they should join or what some of their benefits are?
I think that everybody realizes that the scoring rubric that we've historically used to allot units at the end of the year for people's participation and you know help building the community isn't as robust or clearly relevant as it used to be. So the membership chair and a subcommittee have been trying to build out a new framework for us to do our unit allotment here in 2021, this coming year. And tied to that is just also better service hours tracking, right? Like Harvest is a great tool for the people that are in it and engaging the agency side. But folks that don't do 1099 work for us struggle to track their service hours. And so Trevor has, or the membership committee has stood up a new document to do that service hours tracking. And that's going to be a key part of earning a unit of ownership moving forward.
Yeah, and in addition to that, I mean, being able to track service hours is also helpful to our ecosystem, right? Because that then is another outcome we can discuss
Yeah.
and kind of show off what our membership's doing.
Yeah, for sure. Like those peer-to-peer interactions that historically we know have accounted for tens of thousands of hours of inter-office support or mutual aid. Maybe that's a better way to put it. We never tracked that. We've never had an opportunity to kind of deeply understand the impact of that, and then tell that story back out to the funders. So when you track your hours, you're not only just working towards earning a unit of ownership, you're also helping us better understand the value of the ecosystem, which it lets us recruit better, more talented people, and lets us, raise more money, honestly.
Humans helping humans.
Mutual aid.
No, I mean, I will say, just joining here back in 2016 with my own business and really trying to get clients and learn what was going on in Pittsburgh, it was really helpful to be able to talk to other business owners, whether that was trying to get clients or just griefing about not getting paid by clients or figuring out tax paperwork or whatever. So, these are valuable things to help people grow. And you also get to kind of meet the members here too, which I think is a wonderful thing if you don't know everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so the only other thing on there is, yeah, you said they are reviewing that service hour tracking for those unit allocations, which will affect what's happening, I guess, when we come around to 2022. Anything to mention here about the Millbridge space or the 744 East Warrington space up here while we're on camera?
Yeah, I mean, there's been about $60,000 of work that's gone into Millbridge in the last couple of months. Most of it paid for by the new tenant. Some of it not, but I'd say 80% off the back of the envelope kind of thing. So there's been substantial improvements like new HVAC, new windows, new electric, new doors. So it's a much better usable space. And the balancing act there is trying to keep that property cash flowing in a way that makes it not cost us money against accommodating the needs and the wants and desires of membership here to go and use that space in a way. So one of my goals for the next month or two is to kind of figure out a strategy around 120 Millbridge. That's including, conversations with the architect who are creating that plan of action so that we can roadmap out a way to either expand or better utilize the spaces there. And that's going to be some tough conversations with the existing tenants that are in that building as well, because, they've been there for 20 years and, they're definitely not paying market rate. So, like there's got to be a give and take to have like the advantage of not paying market rate against the needs of the community.
Why are we trying to be good humans, Josh? This doesn't make sense. Let's
I
just
don't
make
know.
money.
I just want to be more like Elon Musk. He's a good guy.
No, and I think it's worth mentioning with Millbridge, just to remind people that's more of the production end of a lot of what Bear and Batch's activities are. And we also have some members renting out portions of that space. So just in terms of timeline, though, do we have like updates on our activities starting to occur in some of those renovated spaces now? Or are we looking like at the end of a certain month that's going to
Yeah,
more likely to happen?
Yeah, Barron's fully moved in there and is using that space to mass produce his art and like to increase the volume of his art. And then the other two tenants are just continuing their business operations as normal. It's Ron Wakefield's a refinisher of furniture and painter, and Lou is a cabinet maker, and he does like high end cabinetry.
So if you're looking for high-end cabinets, we got you covered.
Yeah, we got you covered. And that's something membership I think needs to get involved in more deeply too, is having a conversation with those three tenants that are over there about the value of this cooperative organizing structure, right? Like they're literally just tenants in a commercial building right now, and they need to be looped into the community in a meaningful way.
Yeah. They might need some social media work done, or a website, or a podcast. I don't know. There could be a very Ron Swanson-esque podcast about high-end cabinets I could see happening.
For sure.
So that's all good and well in the physical spaces. The only other things I think that I had on here that were maybe good to touch on is just some of the entity updates. So thinking about Work Hard Digital specifically, I know Maddi Love, got brought on as a staff member to really help formalize how we not only work with clients and bring on new leads, but also just thinking about doing better outreach to freelancers in terms of onboarding and helping to bring them into systems. So, what kind of progress is being made, or what's kind of like worth sharing about where we're at with that?
Yeah, Maddie's killing it. Honestly, like everything that's happening right now in the ecosystem that is generating income or generating social collateral, a good chunk of it's flowing through Maddie's workflow. So, I mean, there's new primary contractor agreements that need to be signed. Those are essentially done at this point. So probably next week we'll get those out. Business is doing good. Like I think we're probably 20% up on volume over this time last year as far as the amount of work that's coming in. It's a lot of repeat work for existing good clients. So it's a lot of like clients that we built a website for now coming back, getting videos and changes to their website, stuff like that. There's a steady flow of leads. So I don't know that job volume is the issue. I think having certain kinds of 1099s that are specifically skilled in particular ways is always a challenge. Graphic design that translates to UI, UX, and web builds, especially in Webflow, is always something that's in demand. We could always use another one or two people doing that. And then, like the mandate to hire equitably and to make sure that job opportunities are going out to all sorts of different kinds of people. That takes precedence too. So Maddie's been doing a good job of looping in Academy Pittsburgh grads from diverse backgrounds and making sure that they're getting opportunities to at least do some portfolio building with some of this web work.
Yay, more humans. No, I mean, it's cool to see it like start to take shape, because really within our ecosystem, it is a story of, like, kind of started with some of these comments about how we're trying to do impactful things. People are grassrooting, bootstrapping it, and volunteering a lot of their time. And now we have not only staff, but we have systems in place to help these things continue to grow. And I think, Work Hard Digital is just turning into a great example of that.
Yeah, I mean that and should be doing a couple $1 million a year of revenue, I think, in the next couple of years. And that's just more opportunity for folks to build wealth.
Nice. So I didn't have this in my notes, but I'm going to talk about it because Academy Pittsburgh. Oh, before we get to that, Barrel and Flow. So that was the other Work Hard Digital one we definitely wanted to talk about. So for those of you that don't know, Barrel and Flow is the rebranding of Fresh Fest. So that is definitely in the works this year, and we're all very excited about it. I know it's going to be happening in September, but what's worth sharing with people today?
Well, it's at the Southside Works. We'll likely be the main stage sponsors. The agency, I'm sorry, WH Digital will be the main stage sponsors. The main stage will be directly across from the residency, the retail space that we organize and help run with Bear and Batch. And, if we can close the deal on that Surla table space, that'll likely be a operational headquarter for a lot of the content that's getting produced. Obviously, that's not a done deal. That's not even a mature conversation. So I don't want to oversell the likelihood of that happening or not happening. Nobody knows. It's very ambiguous. But, Fresh Fest will no doubt employ 20 or so people.
Barrel and Flow Fest.
Damn it.
He wanted it to be Fresh Fest because he's remembering 2019, but
Yeah, good old days. Barrel and Flow Fest, will no doubt create, 20, 25, 30 people they have running around with cameras and operationalizing and all that stuff. So if you're looking to pick up 1099 work September 9th, I think, we're definitely going to need all hands on deck. And then, we'll table, Academy will table, we'll have a booth, we'll be needing people to help tell the story as well of this ecosystem and our contribution to, big impactful cultural events like Barrel and Flow Fest and good old fashioned Hilltopolis and just all the things that, pre-COVID and even post-COVID that we used to do to keep the community engaged and activated.
Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning, if you're not as familiar with what Fresh Fest even was, this is a major event here in Pittsburgh where it started around beer, but it's basically a way for the Black community to engage, and that's everybody from artists to entrepreneurs to the people involved in the brewing community. And then obviously, Dave Bracey is one of the founders of it here, who's comedian, podcaster, writer extraordinaire. So it's a really cool collaboration to see come together. Like my takeaway the first year I got to go in 2019 was it wasn't just that it was well organized, but everyone that participated really brings their A game because they appreciate the kind of day that it is.
Yeah, and it takes, like Epicast, it takes in MetaMesh in the past, like it takes our capacity to do cool things to stack on with a good partner, like Day to like really see that realized. And every year we've gotten better at it, and everything from live streams to, just quality of storytelling. I think, every year we get a little bit better.
Yeah. And I think this year will be extra special with COVID times and everyone wanting a reason to see other people and be happy and enjoy some nice weather. So
the roaring 20s.
So definitely something to look forward to in September. So I'll shift gears just a little bit here over to Academy PGH since I did not touch on that during Workforce, and I should have because Maddie told me to. And I definitely appreciate Maddie's feedback on that. So Academy PGH started its current session developer bootcamp on February 22nd, I want to say. So they're a handful of weeks in now almost, and students are still operating remotely. I think we had 23 or 24 sign up for that. So that's one side of what we're continuing to do. But then I think the other big thing is keeping in mind that we have that digital marketing bootcamp program in the works. So what's maybe some things that differentiate, or why are we even starting a new program through Academy?
Yeah, I mean, our mandate is to help people build wealth, and oftentimes the easiest way to do that is to train somebody in a high demand skill and get them out into the workforce or get them into gig flow on the 1099 side. So the digital marketing specialist bootcamp will instruct a suite of skills that we think are essential skills for any office worker to have, entry-level office worker, to sort of really organizationally add value around the tech and tech adjacent work, right? So it's everything from like Web Light and like Webflow or Squarespace to like project management to ad tech, social media management, some storytelling's in there as well, I think. So a participant in that bootcamp, will be able to go to a nonprofit and really be a valuable multitasking employee, or go to a startup, or even jump into something more corporate and more formal on like a marketing department and have a career trajectory that gives them lots of flexibility to go in a lot of different directions.
So what you're saying is if you're struggling in your current career field to make money, perhaps this is something you should be considering.
Yeah, I think it's going to do really well. I think we're going to be able to find those people, $50,000 a year jobs. And I think that after 2 or 3 years of employment, they'll be just like our web development bootcamp grads, 70, 80 grand a year employees somewhere doing work that's interesting and contributing to, the technology and tech ecosystem, tech adjacent ecosystem here in town. And then I don't think we should announce the partnership there yet, but that boot camp will be instructed in a new location with a new partner that has national name recognition.
Nice. Yeah, and the other thing I think is worth pointing out about this newer program, our developer boot camp that I mentioned had started in February. That's a full-time program that goes 12 weeks. So in terms of dedication from the students, they are there pretty much 8 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, half day on Friday, which is demanding. And certainly, we hear that from them and we help them cope and deal with things and navigate life. But with this newer program, we have a more flexible schedule there, which I'll go ahead and say the days. It's 3 days a week, 2 hours a night in the evening. So I think it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then a 4-hour block on Saturday. And then so a whole course runs 3 weeks. And I believe the whole program would take 5 months to get through. But the idea is that you could be working full time while you're doing this, which how is that helpful to a participant who may be seeking training?
I mean, yeah, the web developer bootcamp really does make it impossible for some people to find that economic opportunity. Like if you can't quit your job and you can't spend all day with John and Jean, it's just not something that you can do. So, reconfiguring some of these courses to evenings opens up a whole new category of people that might be able to do it and really find a way to kind of like find wealth building opportunities for their family. And that's everything from single moms, I think, to just people that just can't quit their job because they need to pay rent.
Yeah, yeah, and for the audience, John and Jean are developer boot camp instructors, and also help run Academy in general as the school, and we appreciate them and love them. Hello, John and Jean, if you watch this.
Hello.
Yeah, and I think it's important to point out too that you could also be someone who's currently employed that maybe needs upskilled, and you may be just dropping in for one course, you may be taking
Yeah.
the whole program. But I know a lot of times employers struggle with that, where they're trying to figure out how to create more of a dynamic within their own team to deploy certain skill sets or increase capacity. So it's worth looking at if, maybe you're expanding your digital marketing efforts within your team, or you want better data analytics, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's an interesting problem to have. Like, how do you make training accessible? But I'm excited to see, like, who all signs up for it. We know some people that are probably going to sign up for it, but
Yeah.
I think that's something that people have asked for a while. So I'm looking forward to it being rolled out.
For sure.
So Academy Pittsburgh, I think that was the last thing I had on my notes. Did we miss any committees? I'm going to look at my producer, Tyler, like Stephen Colbert looks at people off camera on his show now.
Don't believe so. You touched on membership. You touched on production with the tier members, the new tier membership. Communications, we touched on. You talked about workforce.
Cool.
I think that's it, man.
Events.
Oh, events. Thank you. So we don't currently have anything on the schedule right now. We just did a big block of events that Matt Thornton, our events coordinator, organized for Academy in January, April as part of that recruitment and community effort. I will say we do have some stuff coming up in April to look forward to. That's going to be more of a workforce kind of thing going on with the URA. Matt is looking for ideas for membership to have a kind of a get together outside somewhere now that it's not like 10 degrees outside. So if you guys have things that are good ideas around that, things that you would like to be doing that maybe you could leverage us into doing as far as a get together, certainly let Matt know. He's on Elements. And then I'm going to try to remember Matt's email. Is he M Thornton?
Yes.
mthornton at workhardpgh.com. You can definitely hit him up. But that is everything we have for this week at Work Hard. I am Ryan Haggerty. You are
Tyler.
Tyler. You're Tyler Vietmeier.
Tyler Vietmeier.
I was going to see if you could get the last name out.
This is Tyler
Vietmeier, and then Josh Lucas back there monitoring audio, which does just reverse those.
Send all your complaints to Josh.
But appreciate you guys tuning in. You definitely send questions our way and let us know if you want to know more about this kind of stuff. And maybe some of these future ones, you'll see some different faces up here too. But yeah, thanks for joining us.
Adios.